Clay McKinney, Developer On-Ramp Introduction to CSS for Developers. This is the part about the box model. And the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between margin and padding. They look a lot alike at first, but then I'll make one small change and the difference will be completely obvious. So here's what I mean. Let's see, we have H1 and H2. Let's set the margin, we'll set the margin bottom to 0. I'll make that on a new line and tab it in. Okay, margin bottom 0. Let's save that. And that's going to apply to H1s and H2s, right? The way we wrote our rule. Okay, so now there's 0 margin bottom, and let's make a 0 padding bottom too. Save that. Okay, no change. I think the padding was 0 already. Okay, and let's do the same thing to margin top. And padding top, just for fun. Okay, now there's no margin at the top of this H1, there's no margin at the bottom, there's no padding at the top, there's no padding at the bottom, and then the H2 is the same way. No margin or padding at the top or bottom. So they're real closely squished together, right? Now if I add a margin bottom, it does that, right? So now there's 1M padding, that's a margin between the bottom of this one and the next thing. Okay, let's set that back to 0. And let's do the same thing with padding bottom. Okay, pretty much the same thing, right? Excuse me. Padding bottom, margin bottom, it's a space in here somewhere, right? So what's the difference? Well, here's how you can tell the difference. I am going to set the background color for H1s. Background color, we will set it to green. So H1 background green. Okay, so right now it's on padding, and there's 1M of padding inside the box. If we change that to 0 and change the margin bottom to 1M, now there's 1M of margin outside of the box, and that's why they call it the box model. And that's the difference between margin and padding. Padding is inside the box, margin is outside the box. Does that make sense? It makes sense, right? It should make sense. Okay, so that's the difference between margin and padding, and you can set them on each side: margin top, margin bottom, margin left, margin right, padding top, padding bottom, padding left, padding right. You can set them all independently. And we also did a background color here. We had set a background color before for the whole page. We did that one with HSL color. And this one we just did with a named color. There's a whole section on color earlier if you missed it. Okay, difference between margin and padding, and what is the box model. That's it. All right.